So we're back and we are going to, let's see, work on this little piggy here. Let me put my little lights on back here. Before we start with, all right, let's just get this in here, and it's just a slight little mark right here. So this is very dark in here, so you almost can't see where that line of each thing separates here. Add a little white to this. Which is like, I kind of went out of there. Kind of goes on a slant, so I gotta fix that. This is very tiny here, so let me see here. Kind of like a brighter pink. So let's see, brighter purple maybe. Okay, so we're going to brighten that up a bit. Plus, getting a little bit more of that purple in there. Because this is a lot lighter here. And I think the reason that it's lighter is because it's like right in the light of some sort. Okay, yeah, let's get some depth into this one too. A little bit more depth. Let's see. Kind of just brushing this around. Very lightly hitting it, nothing heavy with my brush. Getting those little details in there. Just going over that. Okay. Alright, so we have those in there. And there is a little bit of dark through here, so I'm going to put that in there and then I'm going to go over it again. It's, maybe I won't even have to, but we need that little depth in there. It's part of his little pigginess. Oh yeah, that looks great right now. Okay, so I want to get a little bit of vermilion into his ear. So I'm going to put some vermilion out. This is sort of like this is a Winsor Newton. This is a hue. It's like an orangey shade. It's a little bit deeper than orange. So I want to get, let's see. Okay, let's see here. Well, just to get a little bit of warmth in that one area, I want to kind of create that little bit of warmth in that ear right in here. And I'm going to just add a little teeny bit of white in that. Just kind of like get that in there, a little glaze going here. Kind of give it that little bit of transparency that it's a pink ear. Come up here with that. And it comes down quite a bit in through here. Just touching slightly. Just kind of giving it a little bit of oomph here. A little bit of piggy oomph. Can always keep working at something, you know. Makes it more natural looking. Okay, so we want some white and vermilion. So I'm going to get some more white out. White is just about gone. So this is just titanium white, and it's a liquid acrylic Master's Touch. Okay, I'm going to pull out some vermilion, add a lot of white to it. Lots and lots of white.
The lights on your Echo are how the device communicates its status. The device uses various colors to alert you to different statuses, problems, or notifications.
So
For
glad
information about specific colors, try asking, Alexa, what does the yellow pulsing light mean?
And I'm going to get out my...
Did you know Prime Day is coming soon? Would you like
Alexa, stop! Having a lot of interruptions. Okay. For some reason. Okay, so I got my vermilion mixed. It's very light, very pale. But I want to get this up into this area here. So I'm just going to go light into the hairs. Kind of just bringing it out here. Bringing it up in through here. When you have a line, you kind of just want to go over it a little harder. There's a little bit of that brownish shade in there. I'm going to get my filbert, going into my brown, black mixture here. Now there's not a lot in here, but you want to kind of get that in there. So it gives it some more detail and stuff. So that when I do kind of come back over that, it will cover it. Okay. And this is quite bright, but I think I need to come in there a little bit more with my my raw sienna, because this is just a little too big here. Get this a little wet. Now that we're starting to get this more of the way it looks, I want to make sure we get it right. This bright white needs to be in here. This little ear kind of goes like that. And then this is nice and white here. Just bring some of that out. Some of it out. Not a lot. You don't have to go nuts here. Just kind of indicate that those are little hairs coming up. I'm just using that little, this is a little angle brush by Creative Mark. And there's just a tad that comes through here, just a little. Giving it some indication that that's little hairs that are coming up. Okay. Same here. We can just add some indications of hair, because you do want some of those hairs to kind of stick up into that. Same here. But yet you want that dark to show. A little eyebrow. Okay. Like vermilion. So I'm pushing some of those bristles in. I wanted to get a little bit wider so that when I go up, it just kind of like gives those hairs that little indication of hair. That he's got hair in his little pigginess. And we're going to put some of that right in here a little bit. And some of those white pieces that are going to come out of here. Not a lot. Just to indicate it. Okay, let me get some more of that vermilion. It's a little bit lighter, and maybe just more like this. It comes down in through here. Now my raw sienna, just tapping this in here. I want that to be covered on the inside. I have like 2 containers of water here. We'll get some more of that white back in there. These little hairs are kind of just very, very wispy. Nothing, just kind of wispy in through here. And you know what? I am going to get a liner brush. Let's see. Just a little teeny weeny brush here. It's a Creative Mark number 1. And I'm going to go into my vermilion mixture with the white. I'm going to see if I can just get some of these little strokes here. But just kind of giving it a little, adding a little water to that so that it's a little lighter here. Just tapping, oops. Actually might not be. Just kind of tapping it in there. Most of our work is done because we have like the base coat here. And that's the thing that we want it to have, is that base. Because that's the most important. The eyebrows here of this little baby. Just tapping that in there a little bit. That's like a little bit of vermilion, so I'm going to get some of that vermilion mixture that's a little darker. And just get that in there like this. Very small, tiny bit. of brown there. And just a little accent of light here. Lighter than that dark purpley shade. It's a little highlight right there. Just a little accent. Let me just, I think that this should come down just like this, and then come over, almost like that. And then the brown, this little bit of brown comes up and over, a little bit in here. This really comes down like that. And this is very, very thin here. It's kind of on a round there. Okay. Now, I want to get some of this purpley shade in here and some of that vermilion underneath the eye. So I'm going to go into my vermilion right in here. And actually it's kind of a little scoopy thing here that also I'm going to use my angle brush, going into my brown. Okay, so right here it comes out and it comes down like this, and it comes around, kind of around the eye there, where it goes into that snouty area, and then comes like down here like that, and that gets kind of like a little bit like that. So we're gonna right around in here, it's like dark, so we're just gonna kind of push this out a little bit, push it out a little, try to get that look of hair without drawing too much hair. We don't want to draw all the hair in there. Can add a little bit in through here, just kind of giving it a little bit more hairiness looking. This is really dark in through there, so okay. Getting my filbert, because this filbert seems to be the one to really kind of like use. Okay, more vermilion, lots of pinkish shades up through here. Still, I want something like this. Comes just having that little shadow in there is what we need, really. Wiping that off, going into my umber mixture, kind of just bringing it in here. Just lightly glazing this. Not pressing too hard. I don't want to press too hard. Okay, and in here, still have that vermilion looking right in through here. Around his little snout. Okay, so this has got to be a lot lighter here. Okay, so my brush needs to be wiped out. Let me get more vermilion and white. At first I want it kind of like dark. Then I'm going to put the light in. Okay, and then it gets really bright in through there, so I'm not going to touch that. All right. And then, let's see, a little dark. This here. He's so cute. Oh, goodness sake. He's adorable. Okay. This is more like that purpley shade down here, so I'm going to get some of that in there. It's that purpley violet. Brown. Get that in, and it's in here, and it's also in here. And then this is more dark through here, so I'm going to get that in there, also through here. Very dark in through here, very, very dark. So because that's in the shadows, so you know that when you have a lot of shadowy work here, you have to get that darkness in. There is a little bit of lighter shade here, so we're going to get that in too. Just let me pull that up a bit. And I'd like to maybe get that vermilion in there, because I think that would really pop that out a bit. let's see, right in through here. Just kind of, see, that's quite light, but that's all right. And right in here also. Let me get that a little bit cleaner. Where am I at here? Oh yeah, right here. And possibly some right in here. And in here. Let's see. Now I can get some of that darker vermilion right here. Yeah, that looks nice. And possibly right in here, a little bit of that vermilion. Just kind of tapping it in, giving it a little bit more pizzazz here. Just kind of giving it a little bit of warmth. Just some warmth would be nice. There. All right, so we're starting to get working on this really well here. Okay, so I'm going to go into my vermilion and kind of pop this out a little bit more here. Just making very small strokes. Nothing overboard here. And the lighter vermilion, I want to get that right about here. It's almost white. Okay. It comes down, and we're going to have some right in here also. See, your lights and darks help to bring this out. And that's what we're looking to do. So let's get a little bit more of that lighter vermilion around his eyes a bit. Here. Just to tap it in. Give it a little bit of pop here. Right in here, we want to get some of that up there too. Yeah, he's looking awesome. Okay, so with my little liner that I have, I want to get a little bit of brown right around his eye here. If I can get that very small right here. And then there's some right here. Okay, and let me get what I would like to get a little piece in here also, because this comes around a bit. Okay. All right. And it's a little gray, but it's a dark gray. So let's see here. In his eye, right in here. This side here. Just a tad, okay? And let us get that little speck in there, white. The little glow here. It's about right here. Okay, so we got one side of his eye, and he's looking good on the one side here. Okay, so in through here we need some of that darker purpley shade. get just a tad brown here. Just some brown. Just to kind of go over this here. Kind of blend it up like that. Same in here. Although that's there, you just don't want that to like pop out that it's weird looking. However, this purpley shade, we need to get a little bit more up in through here. There. This goes all the way to here. And it comes up like that. Same over here is going to be the same thing. So I'll just pop that in a little bit. I don't know what those are. Just getting that in there. Okay. Alright, now I want to get this lighter here. So I'm going to go into my vermilion with the very light vermilion. And here, it's going to start right in here. Yet I want that glow under there. So let's get a little white. Okay. All right. Let's get some of this pink in here. Darker. A little bit of darkness here in between all these little pieces here. And he is very, very bright. Maybe I'll just go pure vermilion for now, so we can get that nice and bright. Just getting that lighter. We want that to be very bright and happy little pig, little piggy. Okay, that is all brown and gray. So, wait a minute, now I see a little patch of gray here. And his little snout. Oh, maybe that's a little too light. There we go. Okay, get some of the vermilion here. Comes up. Little hairs here, little bitty hairs. get my bristle brush again. Tap into the, because we want this to show like it's coming around here. Possibly just a tad of this orangey vermilion. Just kind of brushing it around here. Kind of giving it a little. I have to get some light in here. More light. Some of that in there like that, and then we'll get that brown back in there. There we go. That's it. All right. Well, so far I'm liking what's going on over here, pretty much. Still want to get a little bit more of this lighter in through here. Can. Not too much of a... Okay, there we go. And kind of like narrows in there, but that light purpley shade. Look right in through here. Get some of that brown. Kind of. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, let me get my little angler brush here. See if we can get that still a little lighter, because I'm still not real crazy about the way this is going here. Okay, this might be better. Sometimes you just have to play with it, getting it the way you want it to go. And this here, same thing. Is light. Pulling it up into that, pulling it up into that. Pulling it down, pulling it up, whatever way works. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's see here. Looks like I don't have any lights on this side over here. Huh. Okay. Well, it just should come up, but I'll just throw it right there. How's that? A little speck of that. Okay, so let's see if I can just get this out a little bit more here. So you can see. Okay, that's as far as it's going to go. Let me see if I can adjust this so we can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to start doing some work down here. So what I have is I'm going to mix up some violet. This is a Grumbacher, and some white. And it's going to be like 10 parts to 1. So I'm just going to get some white over here on my palette. And then just to dull it down, I'm going to kind of put a little bit of raw umber in there. And I actually might put a little bit of my deep violet in here also. That's a little too bright for me. I could not find cobalt violet, so this might be a little bit better. Just a tad of that in there. A little bit more of the umber. Okay, and it's kind of like a grayish, I don't know if you can see that, a grayish shade. I'm going to start putting this into this area here. On my little piggy. And that pink that's underneath there will kind of help bring this to what it needs, and just lightly kind of just going over that just a little. And it is a little lighter, so I'm just going to grab a little white on my brush here. Just kind of tapping that in there, because there's a little highlight. It's not light, real light, but it's a little lighter than, okay. And then in here, it's definitely more of a brown. So we want to kind of get that in there a little bit better. And I'm going to grab my little number 4. I'm going to wet this a little bit. And get some dark here. I want a little bit more dark right in here. Just kind of darkening that up a little. Just wiping off my brush now. Kind of just getting that to come in. Blending it, blending it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more of my dark umber out. excuse me, I've been sneezing all morning, so I apologize. Mix a little black in with some of that. This here has to be a little darker here. Just making little strokes here. Getting my other brush that I was using. Well, let's let it go in there. Now, let's see here. Just bring that over a little bit. That's all part of his little foot. And then we've got a little bit of that brown, and it's coming just around here. This is like his little hoof. Little hoof. And then that comes in a little bit more. So we want that to come up like that. And let's see. I want to get some of my raw sienna. Just kind of come in here. It should be a little darker here because his little hoof is not that big. And I am going to make that a little darker here. I want that depth around his foot here. It is very tiny little foot here. Very tiny. Rounds off a little. Yeah, that's it. And right here, it's kind of like square little indent there. And let's see here now if we can get some more build up here of this pinky brown shade here. Sort of like a purplish shade. But this gets a little lighter through here. And, just keep building up. Just lightly going in with it. Just very lightly. I'm hitting that very lightly. Okay. That comes down a little bit brighter right in through there. So I'm going to hit some white into that. kind of hitting it lightly here. Making it look just like hair. So I'm just making those short little strokes here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that darker shade in through here. Kind of just bringing it out there. And this line here comes down, so I'm going to get that purpley shade, just to kind of bring it in here, but I'm going to have to darken that up a bit, just a tad more. Okay, good. Just tapping it in. Okay. All right, let's get this little back leg in. This is also some of that shade. Get this little baby in here too.
What are you doing now?
I'm painting. I'm recording. Why? What do you want to do? Okay, so we're going to move on to this leg. I want to do some work on this yet. I'd like to get it a little brighter. But I also want to get a little bit more of the brown color in there. So I'm going to start with that. Just kind of like do that. Just kind of getting that a little bit. And over here too, just looks like that little bit is like up. That it's got its little leg up there. And it comes like an angle here. Just little things that I saw that I wanted to fix. So let's see here. I'm going to mix more of that, it's going to be white, a little bit of violet, and a touch of brilliant blue. I think I need more of that violet in there. Yeah. And some more white. Because this is pretty light right in through here. So I'm just going to kind of whisper that in a little bit. Give it a little bit more of that light there. Just lightly painting, not heavy duty or any of that. Same here. And in here, I'm going to get some of that just lightly. Especially right in here, it's got to be pretty light. And it comes up a little bit more in through here. So I'm just going to kind of go over that little bit. And I'm using my filbert brush. This little leg, a little piece here of his foot, I'm bring that in just a little bit more with my brown, because it's very, very narrow here. And his little, that one right there is a little bit smaller, just from this angle that's showing here. So I want to get that a little bit thinner here. Like that. Go into my brown here. And I think my raw sienna is kind of empty here, so I'll put some more out. And I'm just, well, right now I'm going to use this raw sienna from Basics. Raw sienna. Gotta get some of this. Little pieces of hay here. Around that area. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get a little bit of this pinkish violet. Just put some of that in here. I want that to be in here because I'm going to be going over that with some of the brown, and I just wanted that to be lighter. In here, we're going to be using that real pretty shade, maybe a little darker. I'm going to just add a little bit more of the violet. Kind of come under here a little bit. Just wispy strokes here that are part of his fur. Kind of just blend that in. Blend this in a little bit more. But it's dark under there, and I'm going to get more of that dark in there too. Okay, now this part right here is very light. And his hair is going to be coming down this way. Same here, it's very light here, so I'm just going to go into my white, lighten up this a little bit more. My mixture. Kind of highlight this a bit, because we want that really bright. Not pure white, but just bright. Just pressing a little harder here with my brush, because I got to get that light in there. It just has to be lighter, and we want that to show through. So there we go. And same here. Just a tap. I'm going to tap it in, and then I'm going to pull some of this hair out. Just lightly, lightly, lightly. And over here, grab some white. Same here, this is going to be light. So we're just kind of making that come out now. Kind of the lightness. This is darker under here, but we can add a little bit of light. And I want to get some more of that brownish shade in. That brown and black mixture that I made before. Kind of just going up into all this. Just giving it a little warmth in the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to rinse out my brush. Make sure your brush is nice and clean. So we're going to be coming over here with some of that purpley shade. Just going to go very lightly here. And for some reason, well, should be a little darker, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue to that. Ooh, that really came out. Purpley, and some more white, making it somewhat darker there. It has to be much darker under here, a little dark. Then it gets real light in through here. So just gonna kind of get that all in there as dark. Okay. Then there's this little brown spot there, so we'll get that. It's pretty light right in here. So that's his little toes again. So we're going to get that. Different shades here. Values, different values. We're going to go real light there too. It's going to get lighter as we go. Get a little bit of this brown. Get it in there like it should be. There's one spot right in here. These little toes here. It's like a little triangle here. Okay, and this comes in a little bit more, so I'm going to add that sienna right in through here. And actually a little white with that would be great. Lighten it up. White is very transparent. Not transparent, but it helps with that transparency of the other colors. It kind of gets it more opaque, and that's what we're looking at right now because the sun is hitting here, so that's what we want. This little leg back here is pretty white because of the sun. And some yellow might actually pop this a little bit more. It's a little bit of hay in here that we don't want to go too crazy with that, but just to indicate that that's hay. So I'm going to block this piece in with some white before I go. It's pretty light there. And then there's this little bit of this rosy color right in here. I think that's where his little feet are. Okay, let's see here now. Get this down. tad of that bit of bright pink, like a crimson color right there. Same with that. We're going to just kind of dull that down a little bit because it is a little bright. So let's get some white into our mixture here. Too white, and then you can't see anything happening here, so we'll do that. Okay, now just like a dry brush here, we're just kind of dry brushing it, going in the direction, of course, of the hair. You want to make sure you do that. There's a couple little pieces that kind of just are a little longer, and I'll probably go over this again because it needs a little work here. There we go. A little bit more here. Just kind of lightness. A little bit in through here too. And this should come down a little bit more like through here. Okay, and let's get this here. Let's see. Coming this way, down. Sort of like over this way a little bit. Same with these. You want to get a couple little pieces that are coming out. You can do a lot with filbert. Now, there seems to be like a little bit of an orangey glow in through there, so I'm going to get some of my red and get some white with that. Nothing too crazy, and put that in with my mixture of purple. And get like a, sort of like a real peachy, purpley shade. And I'm going to just kind of put that on top of this. Come over a little bit, kind of blend these up a little. Same here. Still got to make that shadowy look there. Just get some of that peach to make it a little bit more warm. Just in this section, a little bit of. All right. Yeah, he looks nice. Now, if you're working on this with me, take your time. It is a long little process here that we're making happen here. So realize that it's not gonna like pop out and just happen. It's just something that happens. You know, you'll start to see this come to life. Each and every movement that you make with this. Things don't happen right away. You know, it just okay, so this kind of almost looks like it goes over into that little leg back there, but I don't think that's a leg. You know, I guess it is a leg. And maybe I need to bring that leg in a bit more. So I'm going to get my sienna. Just come down a little bit more with that. Dark in here, just a tad. And getting some of that grooving. A little bit of, it's a little bit darker in through here, and some in here also. It's darker. And we want to kind of bring that out so it doesn't look like that line is so prominent. I still got work on these little feet. All right, let me see if I can, oops, lighten that up a bit. I'll get some of that pinkish purpley shade. It's more of a pinky color in this area here. I don't want a lot on my brush. Go. This little tip. Tip of that. Definitely here. Okay, so I think some of this could be a little darker right here. Of course, right in here. This is all his little toes. Some yellow. Mix a little bit of yellow and white, just a tad. Make it a little lighter. That's really kind of bright in through here. I want to capture that brightness, you know, because that's where the sun seems to be shining, so definitely want to get some light here. Okay. All right. So we got this. We want this to be a little bit. This is sort of like a little point here. Just a teeny little point. A little bit more. Maybe that's not going to work. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Very, very narrow in through here. Okay. Now I'm going to get some more white out on my palette here. Got my brush cleaned up. And I still want to get some of this right in through here. It's a little bit lighter. It's going over into this little thing here. Just tapping it in, sort of, not brushing hard. Don't want to brush hard. Just kind of like getting some of that. And this possibly here is a little bit darker, like a purpley brownish shade. So I'm going to add that purple mixture. Just kind of like tap that in there. Right there. Kind of bring some of that out into my other part here. You can hear the birds chirping. It sounds so pretty. All right. Let's see if we can get that a little lighter here. Some light. Okay, same here, I'll get a little bit more light. Just kind of glazing this, not pressing hard, just kind of glazing over it. I want that to be nice and bright. I hate going into pure white because it could, but it needs to be lighter here. And this spot right here needs to be a little bit brighter. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some lighter brown. So that's just a little mixture of light of the brown that I have out and the white. And I think I'm going to go in a little bit with the dark brown, that would be black, and that umber. Let's see here if I can get that a little bit more in. With this dark, it might help to bring that white out a bit more. We'll go in a little bit more after too. Okay. Let me get it a little bit more dark. I think just need to get that a little darker here. Get that in there, and then we can go in with more of the this has to come down without it looking like it's unattached there. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more, well, let me see if I can get some dark in here, because I think his little leg just comes sort of like in a little, like that, kind of rounded out here. And it's sort of like a duller white. So I'm going to go into my purples that I've mixed and put more white in it. And let's see how that comes out. Just add it here. Almost like a glaze. And it's kind of interesting because I see this little shadow that is coming way up in here that looks to me like it's part of this little foot of his. And even though it's dark in here, right in here, that is helping to bring it to where it should be. So I'm going to kind of come in here with this, because it is darker in through here. This comes up, and then that is lighter in there. So let's get some light purpley shade here, and kind of just go like this. Bring it in. It's a little fuzzy looking, but that's the way it's supposed to be. A little bit fuzzy. It doesn't look like hair, it just looks like fuzz. Same here, just with that little lightness here. Get some light purple. This here comes down a little bit more. So it might actually be like little hair in there. Okay. Okay, kind of makes it look there like that. Better. Better. A little bit more white. Have it come up here. Come in. There we go. And let's get this a little bit lighter now. So it does look like his little there. That looks good. Now it kind of really helps to pop this out a bit. There we go. All right. So now we got to work on this some more over here. Because just kind of like do some highlights here. Get some of this in here. Get some of that blue. And some white. Now I come down here. I'm just going to grab a little bit of brown, kind of mix some of that in there with this. Make it like a there. Sort of like a gray, kind of grayed it down a bit, and I think that'll help get this I want it. And of course, this doesn't have to be exactly like the picture that I chose. It's just you kind of want to get somewhat that it looks like this little piggy. brush. Get into my brown. And just dry it out a little bit and then come through here with a little bit, just that little bit of shadow. There we go. And down here too. It's just a shadowy color. All right. So, got that. So I'd like to get some of the snout in, his little snout. It looks kind of like a little bit of white, some of brown. Just get a little pink. Okay, and right here, it comes up right in here. I think that's his little mouth. So, and then down and through here, we just have to kind of pull it out a little bit. It's not that grayish shade, but kind of like that. Okay, so I want to get some white and some of my orange, my permanent orange. Or, it's vermilion. I'm sorry, vermilion. And I'm going to put his little snout in here. Because I think once we get his little snout in, it's going to be nice to just kind of go up. It's very light in through here. And I think it's more light up in here, so I'm going to just get this kind of in. And work on it here. Okay, browns here. Just kind of like come around here. Okay. Little bit of a line here. Okay. Okay, we'll get some more of this to lighten it. I'm gonna make a light peach. Just gonna sort of come down this way. Just lightly putting this in because I have to come in with some other shades too. Alright, so I'm going to get a real bright here, almost white, on the tip of his. So I think that peach would be perfect right here. Because it's very bright from the sun right there. And then it kind of goes into this, like right in here. I might have to use a little bit of a liner here. Let me see my angle brush, like that. Here we go. See if I can. It's not like it's very bright, but I'm going to add some of that vermilion. And it'll tone this down a smudging. Just smudged. And okay, so this is good right in there. I like that. That needs to be something like that anyway, so because we're doing his little nose. And it's kind of deep in there, so let's just get this a little bit like that. 'Cause there's not much that shows there. And let's see. Kind of come down with this. It's not like it's real bright, but it's lighter. And just a little bit taller, but I'm gonna go that away. And it goes down like that. Just blending it with my fingers. Darker in through here with that purpley shade here. Yeah, that looks great. Well, so far we're coming along really nicely here. Still do not like this, so I'm going to try to get that a little bit better here with, let's see here, I'm going to come up like that with that. Just barely shows there. The thing about this is it's very dark in here. So his little toes, very tiny, tiny little toes. So we're just going to go like that. Comes in and up, like on an angle. Little angle right there at his toes there. Okay. It's kind of dark in here. I don't know, maybe just get some browns, a little bit of browns in here, because I think that's just part of his coat, but kind of like coming in there, the depth of it. Okay. Alrighty. Wow. So I think that's it for part 2. And then we're going to kind of go into part 3 next time around. But I'm going to get some dark in there, some darker brown. Maybe with some white. Just kind of glazing over it. Just kind of glazing it. This actually comes up a little bit more, so. That's more like that purpley orange. Be a little darker. Down and through here, it's going to be somewhat darker. Okay. And I think right in here, I'd like to make that a little bit wider, just a tad. So I'm gonna kind of come in there with that orange shade. Just there. Should be a little warmer through here. Then I'll hit it with some white. Just to highlight some of it, like right here. Okay. And This here can be like a brown, coming into brownish shades here. Because I need that a little lighter in through here. A few little hairs for the pigs here, or piggy. There we go. Okay, we'll soften this up a little bit more here. Just get some of that really lighter. Soften it. Here. And then he's going to get, let's see, I want to get some of that orange and purple and orange. Okay, and I want to kind of, let's see, it does go this way, so let's get some little hairs in there so it just doesn't look like I tapped it in there. Lots and lots of time on little Miss Piggy here, or Mr. Piggy, cute little piggy, because you don't want a ton of hair on here, but you want it to look like there's hair, you know, hair, a little bit of hairs in here, just kind of coming out. Alrighty, let's see here now. Let's see. being very quiet here because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. Just want to make sure that everything is looking like hair, kind of. Alright, so I'm going to get some of that brown in here now and get some of that to go in here. Okay, I think that looks nice right there from what I can see in the camera, and that will be it for today, and we'll be back for part 3 next time to get the rest of Mr. Piggy done, and that shouldn't take too long, but the way this is happening it might take a little longer, so we just have to be patient in what we're doing and make sure that we're doing a good job. That's the key. So until next time, bye.